Hey everybody, welcome to At Home with Empty Canvas. I'm still here in Cabo and I will be painting an angel with a heart. I forgot to mention in the pictures I showed all the colors of paint you need. I forgot to add yellow. We need yellow to make some skin, and I'm going to show you that you don't have to paint on a canvas. You don't have to paint on sketch paper. I'm painting on just lined paper. I taped it to my book because I got nothing stiff. I had to put it on, like this is my sketch pad. So I need something stiff to put it on my easel so I can paint for you guys. And I'm painting sideways. This one you're probably going to need a blow dryer because the background is going to be full of messy. I'm not getting mine wet because it's just really thin paper. If it was my sketch pad, I'd quickly get it wet. You're going to use a big brush, like that's, I don't know if that's 1 inch. I don't think that's an inch, but that's what I use. And then some sort of a smaller one. Either one of these two work. Whatever you have will work just fine. And then some sort of pointy round one. So you'll also need, I put too much paint here. That's black, that's brown. Look how close they are. It's really hard to tell the difference. This is a raw umber brown, so it's more of a brown than a reddy brown. If you want a reddish brown like a cedar, you're going to look for burnt umber. That's more red tone. And the white, yellow, and red. And except for the white, I think I have way too much paint here for everything. So this angel is going to be super messy. If you have a canvas or you have sketch paper, dip your thing in the brush, get it all kind of wet so that you don't use as much paint. And we're just going to make a messy background. It's going to be like a light brown and then a black here, grayish color. So I want mine to be more of a light brown. So I'm going to take my brown, mix it in with the white, and I'm not even going to mix it solid. It's going to be, I call this marbly. So just sort of tap it in. It's messy there, it's messy here, it's going to be messy. You might see lines through mine because it is, I don't know, I've never painted. So basically I'm going to be doing like angle like that. So it's going to be a little darker in here. Just, my paper's so bouncy. Just any old way that you want to do it. Take and push flat with your brush. Don't worry about it being neat. Go in, grab some more, maybe to be a different color. Maybe it won't. Maybe you want more brown. Stick some more brown, just straight brown on that. Just leave it messy, okay? You don't want to have it too terribly dark because our hair is going to go right in here and it's brown. But everywhere else, go ahead, get a little darker. Just don't make it smooth unless that's the look you're going for. Flat, just pretend you're cleaning your brush off. Okay, so like that's working good. It's covering up all the lines. And when you paint on paper too, another thing, oh my gosh, it's just, it takes all the headache and worry away that, you know, you're screwing up, you're ruining a canvas. You never, paintings, you never ruin them. Just saying, they're never really ruined. It's just going to be different. And this too, you could do this if you hate your background and you want to make something different of it. If you keep mucking around with this, it's going to be one solid color. Let it dry, add more on top of it. It's going to sit on top, it won't blend in. Okay, so we're going to do the same with black. Maybe I'll just put some black right in here because I've got all this. So just add black to that mixture, marble it up, see what happens. Oh, look at that. Clean that brush off. See how I don't just all do it in one spot? I move all over the place. And now I'm going to grab a little bit more white that was, it's still inside of this mixture, but that hadn't blended it so much. And look, I'm just going to throw that on. We don't want to have too much white because she's got a little white dress, this angel. And I'm just sort of going to move it all kind of in so that it's not just black, white. or black brown, I should say. But it's they kind of mix back and forth with each other. Bigger, if you want bigger, just flatten your brush out longer. If you want little teeny little marks, so it's really messy, maybe I'm going to throw a little up in here. Gotta clean that brush off. There you go. There's a nice, weird, messy background. I kind of like it. I'm all about mess. If anybody who's painted with me a lot, you know that I'm all about mess. Love messy. I think it looks richer. Like you actually tried to get this background. I don't know. Let's turn this light on, see if I can. Maybe that helps. I don't know. Can't see what you guys see. All right, so that's all we're going to do with that big brush. So throw that in your water. You're not going to need it anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to take our pointy brush, and I am going to use black for this, just so you can see it. Best that you're dry. If you're following me along here on this tutorial, pause me, go blow dry your background. I don't have time for that. Plus, my blow dryer doesn't work in Mexico. It heats up the plug element and just stops working. So we have to consider that we're going to put a heart over here. I want to have her head around here. She's going to have a long neck. So maybe right about here, I'm just going to do, not quite a straight line, but a little bit of a swoop. Just a little bit of a swoop. And then we're just going to do a long triangle down. So hopefully my perspective is right. I'm painting from the side, so it's a little different. Not a big wide one, but definitely triangle. Yeah, that looks good. And then another one here, just so it's parallel to that one. But you see, it's not a super wide out triangle. This is going to make her look taller. The wider you do it, the shorter she's going to look. And I kind of want her to look a bit tall. So her shoulders are just going to come a little off, right off of here. They're going to come out a little bit rounded to about halfway, and then they're going to go in. See what happens when it's wet is it grabs all the paint and sucks the life out of it. Okay, so that's the bottom of her sleeve. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to keep making it darker. This works so much better when it's dry. Just saying. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then come in right to about the same height. And they're going to get a little bit close. She's going to be holding her hands. Now, we're going to do the top of her sleeve. So we're going to go on an angle in and in. So it's almost like another triangle. In and in, triangle, triangle. And then that's going to come up out here. And same here. So that's kind of on a downward angle. And we can make these longer if you want, like deeper in here. That just means we bring this down a little more. Just bring that down a little bit more. It's okay if you mess it up a little bit because we're just going to go over. And let's see. So I went a little far out here with that, so it's okay because it's just going to wrap around. Once we have the white in here, it's just going to look like her arms wrap around in there. So that's all we need for that. Let's just carry on and do her whole person. So her neck is going to start right from where they meet the shoulders, and it's going to come up and it's going to swoop. It's a long kind of a skinny neck. It can be wider if you want it to be a little wider. Make it a little wider. That's up to you. Her hands. Oh, let's go to her hands. So she's going to have the thumb. It's going to come like that. It's going to cut around. And it's just going to almost look like a mitt. So it's like a little C shape in there. That's all there really is. And then you'll just see like a little bit of the other hand inside of there. And her head, it's going to be an oval. I'm going to touch my paper, but it's super wet. And I'm going to make it start right up about here, oval. And I did make my line a little thick. Maybe her neck should be a little wider. With a little flat bun on the top. How does that look? I'm gonna make that wider with paint. It's always good to start small. And then I'm gonna throw a heart up here. It's nice. It's a long heart. Nice long down heart up there. So that's pretty much her shape. I'm not going to worry about the hairline yet, and I do want to make her face bigger when I go. I've made all my lines way too thick, but I want you guys to see it there, so that's why. So she's going to have some wings. Her wings are just kind of circles that go from here right up and come like that. There's one wing. And I'm just going to have another one. It's going to be just a little bigger, and they are going to be see-through. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to come up and around bigger. And there you go. She's got two wings on that side. I'm going to do the same here. Little wing over here. Try to make it the same size as that one. And up to you, whichever side you want to put this on. I want this one to be bigger here. Two wings. There we go. I'm stalling because I want mine to dry up a little bit. I'm still going to use this brush. I'm going to make some skin color. So white, a touch of red. We'll make this pink. Take a touch of yellow. It's probably too much. Throw it in there. This should start turning into a skin color. Got a little bit of brown. You can throw a little bit of brown in there just so it has like a little tan, just a little bit. That was that brown and white mixture. I think I can do a little more yellow. It's just an experiment. You just take teeny bits of each color and muck around with it until you find a skin tone that you like. Might get too yellow, then you're gonna add just like a little touch the end of your brush with red. Throw a little bit of red back in there. You'll see skin tone. You don't need to make a whole pile of this stuff. Oops, that's way too much brown. My gosh, wipe that off. See, even accidents happen with me. It's okay. So I kind of like this color. Well, maybe I want it to be a little yellower. I don't know. I'm thinking my background is still wet. I might need a little more red in mine because I think I'm going to be pulling up a little bit of that background. So I'm going to start with her neck. I'm going to go over my black a little bit. Remember, I wanted my neck to be a little wider. So I'm widening it with this color. Get her hands. So I'm just touching in there. Not losing my black line too much. And then her face. Remember, I'm going to make her head a little bigger, I think. Don't have to do the whole thing because her hair is going to be up there. So it's kind of like a squished down Hershey's Kiss. making her head a little bit bigger. See, my black is still wet, so it's mixed in there. That's okay. There we go. So I'm going to go back over washing this off with my black so you guys can see now where her face is. And I'm not going to do it as thick this time. So, start here. Really light touch. Light touch. And it goes right over there. Okay, so you can see how big her head is. Now, her hair is going to be brown. I'm going to start with brown and then I'm going to throw some white highlights in. So I just wiped my brush off. And I'm just going to draw a line right down the center to there and stop. And then it's going to swoop. Paper folded a little bit. And then it's going to come here and it's going to swoop. There's her hair. And going to go in brown. Going to round her head a little bit. It's where I adjust my shape. Rounding her head a little. Adjusting the shape. Like that. And then her little bun. Her little bun on top. Which is also squishy. Maybe I want that to come around her face this way. Down and around and around. Does not have to be perfect. You want her head to be bigger, just keep going wider with this. And then you're just going to go a little wider with her skin. That's all. So we're going to leave that to dry a little bit because I got to put some white highlights and some cheeks and stuff on her. How about we move into the heart? Because I do want this to dry a little bit more. It's drying pretty nicely actually on the paper. It's the first time I painted on the paper. So with this brush, this round brush still haven't used that medium-sized brush, but I'm going to get to it. Just color this whole thing in red. You can leave the black lines, that's fine. We're going to give it some beautiful blackish tones. So here's how we make this just a little deeper. I don't want to ruin all my red. So I'm taking some of the black. Doesn't matter if you mix up the brown by accident. Both colors make a nice darker hue. So taking some black, mix it in the side of the red so I get a nice deep red. There we go. Now I'm going to go down this side here a little bit, just being messy. I'm going to put a little white stuff on there. I don't know how that happened. I want it to be dark. Going down this side and a little bit on that edge up there of the heart. Down a little bit. Wipe off all the excess off your brush. Rinse it, doesn't really matter. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of blending. Grab some fresh, just red paint. Just red. Go back into your red part. I'm just getting rid of some of it because I grabbed too much. And then just take your brush and just sort of tap over the black. Just so it's not a solid line. Tap over the black part that you put there. If it disappears, wipe your red off. Grab a little more of that dark stuff. Now I'm going to go in with the dark stuff where it was. Just tapping it back and forth in there. Look at that blend. Look at that blend. Just tapping them dark into light. light into dark. If you lose all your light, wipe off, clean your brush, go straight into the red, tap in some red. But look how nicely that blended. That's gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to maybe take a little bit of red over here and just a touch, oh sorry, red over here, and take just a touch of yellow and put it in there just so that you have a brighter red. I don't want to use white because that's going to turn to pink, but I want a lighter hue of red. And just while you're doing that, just right there, it's going to be so subtle. And if you can't see it, add a little more yellow, but just right there. That's going to make it sort of glow from the background. Ta-da! Done. Oh, I got red. I got some red on my brush. Let's give her some cheeks. Tap, 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 tap. So just make it sort of round like C shape. Got some nice cheeks there. I'm going to wash that off. Going to go into her skin color again. I think I still have some here. I don't have a whole lot. I'm going to go right in the center. Just darken that up a little bit because I did see my black line. And just like you did over here with the black and the red, go into her cheeks with it and blend in and out. Just so that you can see those little pink cheeks, but not so extreme. If they disappear, just touch a little bit more red and bring it back. You don't want to have too terribly much. All right, now I'm going to take just a touch of white. And I'm just going to put like a little white-ish. I tap a lot. If you've got a messy background, you might as well go messy everywhere. So I'm just going to tap a little white right in the center here. And tap just down this side of her neck a little bit. See, because mine's wet, it's just blending in. And my papers are wrinkly. Ah, there we go. Nice. I'm going to give a little bit of white on her hands here, just above here. Take my original pink color, and I'm going to mess around in there. And I'm going to take a little bit of red, and I'm just going to go at the bottom of her hand, just so that it's a little bit darker there. So regular color, a little bit of white, maybe there's some red in that backhand so it looks a little darker, and then just circle there. And that'll look like an undershadow on her hand. I'm going to bring that closer so you guys can see these things. So a little bit of the darker red right here, then your regular skin color, a little bit of white. Maybe in here you've got some red. See your face? Oh, look at that heart. So gorgeous. It looks really messy up front, and that's okay. We don't have a lot left to do. We're just going to do, clean this right off. Let's go over her wings. Now this is fun. This is just going to be white tapping. Take a little bit, just a tiny bit on the end of your brush, a little bit of white. And then we're just going to cut. See, because my lines are so thick, really light tap, little dots, like magic, little magic dots around her. Be messy with it. Don't be like one straight line. Boy, can you guys see that? I'm going to come a little closer. So you don't want to have one straight line. Just tap really lightly, back and forth, a little bit past, a little bit on. Looks like magic all over her wings. Right? Maybe that's too straight up there. A little bit more coming off. So that's how you're going to do her wings. Just throw a little magic dust all the way around her wings. Don't hide the black completely. And I'm putting it on the outside of the wing, so this will be able to help tell which wings are front, which wings are back. The wings are all showing up really nice now. So cute. So whenever I'm gonna let some dust fly off here. Angel dust. I don't know, like fairy dust, angel dust. We do this weekly on Patreon. The link, well, it's not a link, but it'll show you inside, right at the beginning, how you can find me on Patreon. If you want to do this every Wednesday, there's over 100 tutorials that will unlock when you join. It's $20 Canadian a month, or 15 US dollars. And we paint whatever you want. It's called Whatever Wednesday for a reason. We paint whatever you want Wednesday nights, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, live on Zoom. And if you miss it, you'll end up with a tutorial like this that unlocks, and you can paint at your own pace whenever you want. Plus, we play bingo for gift cards that I mail out to the winner every week. We play a nice game of bingo. Oh, I like that. Totally like that. So you can throw this dust anywhere you want. Magic dots always make a painting better. I don't know why, but it looks a little more whimsical. Look at that. Love it. Just love it. I'm not going to put anything around that heart. That's all good. So now let's go to her sleeves. Just made that black disappear. That's okay. Just paint right over all the lines that you did. Just paint in this section right here and into her arms. Don't let the black disappear from her sleeves unless you want to adjust the sleeve color. I'm still using my little brush. I want to see my outside sleeve, outside of the sleeve, the shoulder. If it disappears, we'll just draw it back in, just so you know where it is. Okay, so there's one sleeve. I'm adjusting this one. I want it to be a little longer down there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's do the other one. If we do these fast enough, we can throw the black in and mess it up and give it some shadows and stuff. So here's where my original is, my original sleeve that I drew. But I want it to hang down like this one. So go ahead, pass the line that you drew it first, and just make it a little longer. No big deal, right? There you go. There's your angel sleeves. While we got that, we're going to take a little bit of black, just a touch on the end of your brush. And right here, sorry, big truck went by. Right here, go down this side. Just let it blend in. Take a little bit, go on this side. It's okay that it's going to look a little gray. We can add some more white to it after. I got white around the sides of my brush, so I just push that in there. Just want that to be a little bit darker gray for now. We'll do the same on the other side. If you grab too much white, or too much black, don't do as much. So it should come on a triangle like that, right? So this side, same black, come like a triangle like that, but leave it messy. How's that? Make any sense? Scribble, scribble. throw a little bit more black in around here. See how messy that is? I like it. I know it looks weird and it doesn't look very white. It's very messy. Leave it. Just leave that. I know that's too dark. I know it is. See? I know that's too dark. It's all okay. Because guess what? We're going to make it white. Look, I made it even darker. In case you guys made it really dark, I made mine even darker. All right, so time for either one of those two brushes. The little flat one or this one. Remember I said you got these at, if you're in Canada, there's a store called Fields. Our dollar stores sometimes carry them. The blue, the big one comes with a super tiny little brush. That one and this one comes with 3. This one, and the pointy one. All for under $2. So, oops, sorry, wiggling. I'm going to grab this brush. I'm going to go into the white. I'm using the square one. I could use the angle one, doesn't matter. And I'm going to go right up to the collar, right down beside the sleeves that we did, leaving the black mark. And you guys, if you decide you want to hang a crucifix around her neck, rosary beads, that's up to you. I mean, this is your angel. You could put a little heart around her neck, a little heart necklace. If your angle of your dress you thought was just too narrow, make it wider. White covers a lot. I could go a little longer, but I taped my page down. I just wanted to show you guys. You don't need sketch paper. You use whatever you have that you control. This is a little bit drier now up here. I'm just going to tap with the corner of my brush. Take the other corner, right in the center of her face. Down that side of her neck. I just wanted it to be a little lighter. You can blend it in with your finger a little bit if you want. I like it. Still have to do some highlights in her hair. Not quite done. All right, so now you've got your white. That should be a little bit drier now. So I'm taking the corner of my brush. I'm just going to go over what I want to be white. Really loosely. Just tapping some white in there. Just a little bit more white on this sleeve. If it's still not going white and it's still blending into a gray, just wait a little while longer till it dries. Look at that. There you go. I still have messy sleeves. They got to be a bit messy. But I want a bit more white there. Perfect. Okay. Now, we have to mess up this dress again. All lines should be going vertical, so you can use either your little round brush that you had, or you can use this one, but make sure your lines are going up and down. I don't want that. Yeah, sort of in there. So with the black, I used way too much. A little bit of black on the tip of my brush, just to make her messy, to go around with the rest of the painting. Some lines. I have a little bit more in here. Okay, now I'm going to put that in the water. Go back to my big brush. Follow the water. Grab some white, not a whole lot. And I'm going to go up and down with this over top. Just sort of blending it in a little bit. Maybe I need a little more black there. I don't know. I just don't want it to be solid. So getting all that off my brush, go into the white, make some areas just a little more white. If you're not happy, it's up to you how much black smear you want. And then you can just sort of clean your brush off into your background if you want. You think it's too dark. When you have very little white left on your brush and you get to this point here where it's super light, that's where you want to go inside your wings just a touch. You can do it sideways, just very little, so that it looks like there's still a see-through white. You can still see your background through it a little bit. There you go. There you go. I don't have all the right colors here to do the skin the way I wanted to do. So this is what it is. It's not the nice yellowy brown that you saw in the demo. Let's see, if I add a little bit of yellow, what happens. Oh, I put a little bit of yellow in her face here and there. Just a touch. A little bit on her hand. Helps a little bit. Cleaning my brush off here. Don't know what I'm doing. Cleaning off my brush. There's nothing on my brush. I'm just giving this all a little bit of a blend. Clean that brush up. It's dry. There you go. All right, so white in her hair. Taking my little round brush. Just a very little bit of white. So in her part. There's her part, right? Draw a little white line. Just across the top of her bun. And circling her bun just a little bit loosely. Just so you can see. And then we're going to streak sort of sideways. So I'm going to have to put some water in my white because my brown is dry. It's just some streaks going through that way. Streak around the shape of your angel's hair from that part. If it gets to be too white, you just go do the same thing. Just like you're streaking your hair. If it gets too blonde, you're going to reverse streak it with brown. Looks so messy up close, doesn't it? It's supposed to. Nothing wrong with that. It looks really good far away. Sometimes you just need to step back from your painting. I'm going to add some more angel dust. Some more angel dust here. I love it. I really love it. So if you don't like that too blonde, go in, throw some brown over it. But I definitely like mine, so I'm leaving it. You think that line's too dark? Go over it with white. Like I said, this is yours, your painting, so make it yours however you want it. I'm just giving you guidelines. Don't forget to sign. And we're done. Okay, so next week we are painting some really fun birds with long legs. They're just like round puffball birds, all different colors. So colors of the rainbow. You could do light green, pinks, blues, purples, reds. You can go with earth tones, rusts and browns and reds and really deep yellow ochre and stuff like that. Up to you, whatever color you want to paint your birds. I'm going to show you how to do them. You're going to pick the colors. And we'll see you next week. Thank you guys for stopping by. Make sure you share your pictures with me. I love to see them when they're done. Bye for now.